Good morning. It is Monday, October 16th, and this is obviously day 16 of Vlogoween or Vlogtober. And I have not posted for the last 3 days, not because I haven't been recording, but because I have been, frankly, lazy and didn't want to edit, because editing is a pain. I'm amazed at people who do it for a living. It's incredible. So this morning I am up and it's, I don't know what time it is. It's 11:45, 10:45. It's 10:45. Let's not make it later than it is. Oh, so it's 10:45 and I've spent the last 2 hours watching videos of the praise team. And it was a little painful. I'm not gonna lie to you. And so I've been thinking about ways to help the team work through some of the issues that I'm hearing and seeing in the videos. For those of you, I suppose I should give a little background. For those of you who aren't on the praise team, I don't even know if the praise team watches these, but so our praise team, one of the things that we requested a couple of months ago was that all of our performances, all of the Sunday morning services, particularly the music, be recorded so that we can look at them and do some assessment on what needs to be done. Other things that have happened this weekend. So one of the coolest things that happened this weekend, I was very excited, is I ordered flashcards, music flashcards for my piano students. And they came this weekend. And so I wanted to show you the flashcards. So I got 3 different sets. I got a 2-part set. I got a 2-part set of music flashcards. This one is for beginning students, and this one is for late elementary. And that sounds really, like, late elementary sounds ridiculously easy still, because you're looking at, you know. But when I started flipping through the cards, some of them are a lot more difficult. I mean, these are basic music terms. And so some of them are a lot more difficult than even my late elementary students could do. So that's pretty interesting. I also got a complete set that has a little bit different, can you see these? This has a little bit different focus. They're arranged similarly, and I wanted to show you a little bit about what the different cards do. So, for example, this is a card, and for those of you who don't know, this is a treble clef sign. And for my students, they need to know that typically, especially for younger students, this is the staff or the clef that they will play with their right hand. These are actually, they're not mixed up at all. So of course, the next thing that comes up is the bass clef, which is often played with the left hand. So these yellow ones, they've got the signs, and then the rest of them, I don't know if I can do this well, but the rest of them are notes. So this is, that's a C, I think. There's a D. Oh look, there's an E. An F, G, A, B. I mean, it just keeps going, and it goes up the staff. And about halfway through, that's the bass clef. And then once you get to E in the bass clef, which is 2 lines above the staff, it starts into the, I'm sorry, A. Did I say E? No, that is E. C, D, E. E. It goes to A in the treble clef. And I know I'm going to have students who are going to be like, well, this one is 2 above and this one is 2 below. Why aren't they the same thing? This one is 2 above. This one is 2 below. But the problem is that the first line underneath, this line here, that is C. The first line here, that is C. So this note is actually also this note. So this is the kind of thing that I do with my students, and I'll mix these up. And then the other thing I'm going to do is laminate them. I bought a laminator this weekend so I can laminate them. So those are the yellow cards in this particular one. Then we have pink cards in this set. And the pink cards are all about types of notes. So those were the names of the notes. These are the types of the notes. So this is a quarter note, or I'm sorry, it's not a quarter note. This is a single eighth note. It's a half count in 3/4 or 4/4 time. And speaking of the devil, there is 3/4 time. And 3/4 time means there are 3 beats in each measure, and that a quarter note gets 1 beat. And so those are the pink cards. They're all note symbols and rest symbols. So those are pretty cool. Yay. Then we have white cards, and the white cards are terms. They are musical terms. So, for example, adagio, which is a tempo term, and this tempo means slowly. So you play the piece slowly, whereas opposed to andante, which is a walking pace. And then, of course, you have moderato, which is moderately. Allegro, which means happily or quickly. And then you have words like this. This is ritardando. It can be shown in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it is, what do you call it? Not truncated, shortened, abbreviated, like this, retard. It's also abbreviated with just RIT, and it means to gradually slow the tempo. So these are all, there's your forte, which is a dynamic or a volume sign. These are all music notations rather than notes or types of notes, either the names of notes or types of notes. Then we have green cards, and the green cards are, there's some more notation, but they're focused on things like sharps. That is not a hashtag, that's a sharp. Just want to make it very clear, not a hashtag. Flats. Now, sharps and flats are often seen in music. Sharps are 1/2 step higher than the natural note, and flats are 1/2 step lower. This is the natural sign. And then it has things like dici al fine, and dici al fine means de capo al fine, which means repeat from the beginning and then you play to where the ending is marked, or the fine. It also has tied notes. These are 2 notes that are tied together. And that is often a concept that's difficult for students to learn and differentiate between this one. And this is a slur. And a slur is put in place to smooth out notes. So you don't play them or sing them disconnected. You play them and sing them smoothly and connectedly. So that's what that's for. So that's the blue cards. Then we have, or the green cards. Then we have blue cards, and the blue cards are very interesting. They're divided into intervals and key signatures. So the idea is to help students learn intervals a little better. And intervals are notes, 2 notes, and the distance between them is really what it is. So this is what's called a second. These notes are exactly 1 step apart. So this is a C. This is a D. They're right next to each other on the keyboard. They're right next to each other on the staff. One is a line note. One is a space note. These are all indications that it's a second. And interesting, one of the cool things about these cards is that it actually has 2 different kinds of seconds on it. This is a melodic second, and a melodic second means that the notes are played separately. So this is played first, and then this one is played. This is what's called a harmonic second, and the harmonic notes are played together. And the way I explain it to my students often is, So you sing a melody, and the parts are always, or the notes are always separated. So this is the melody you sing when you sing a song, whether you sing it with the radio, or you sing it at church, or you sing it in your bathroom, or however you sing it. These are most often the notes that you're going to sing. Harmonic adds a second note to the first note, so they're played together or they're sung together, and often that's how melody and harmony are sung. So we call melody harmony, and we call these melodic and harmonic. So those are the intervals, and then it also comes with key signatures. Now it only goes up to 2 flats and 2 sharps, which is fine because it's early. It's really very early education, very early musical education. So it's only got 5 keys in it. It starts out with the key of C, which has no flats and no sharps, which is pretty much the basic key everybody knows on site. And then we have the key of G, which is 1 sharp. And then we have the key of D, which is 2 sharps. And then we have the key of F, which is 1 flat. And the key of B flat, which is 2 flats. Did I say 2, 1 flat? I meant 1 flat. 1 flat, 2 flats. And the way you know this appears at the beginning of these. This is what the beginning of your music will look like when you play in that key. And so it's important for students to learn keys so that they can identify them. It's one of the things that I did not learn as a student. I didn't learn it very well, partially because I stopped taking lessons right around the time that became a major part of my musical education. And so one of the things that I'm really focused on is helping my students learn this at a young age so that they can identify those keys, and eventually they're going to stop taking lessons. And if they want to continue to play the piano, or they want to play another instrument of any kind, they're going to need to know some of these things. And so one of the things that I'm really focused on as an instructor is teaching them things like key signatures and scales, so that they are prepared to deal with those things later in their own, once they leave piano lessons with me, they can continue their own education. So the other 2 sets of cards are they're broader in terms of what they offer. So these actually come in 3 different colors. They come in yellow, pink, and white, and both sets come in this way. So I'm only going to show you the first set. I'm not going to show you the second one. Obviously, the yellow cards are very similar. They have the different types of notes. So that's a quarter note, a quarter rest, a whole note, a whole rest, etc., etc. And then it has the time signatures and all of that. Well, it just has 4/4, 4/4, and 3/4, which are the 2 most common time signatures that students will encounter as they play. But this also has some really cool options for learning rhythm. Now, this is a rhythm card, and the idea is that you would lay this out maybe by itself, maybe in conjunction with other rhythm cards. And the idea is that the student would be able to clap or tap or even count as they tap on the notes. So the idea is to help them learn different rhythms. And it starts out pretty easy. This is a 4/4 time, 3 quarter notes and a quarter rest, and each measures 2 measures. It's not really difficult. Basically, if you're not familiar with music, this is counted 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. So you would play these notes and you would not play in the rests. So that's how my students would do that. But it does get more complex. You see, this one has 4 measures. This line here, this is what's called a bar line, and it divides music up into sections so that you can count. So this is a 4/4, which means there are 4 beats in each measure. So between each set of lines, so imagine that there's a line here, even though there's not a line here. So there are 4 beats here. This is a half note, so it's worth 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 beats in each measure. And so they would be able to hopefully go through that and tap that out. And so that's kind of one of the cool things about this particular set. It also has, again, it has intervals. This is a, oh, look, it says, this is an 1/8. Or an octave interval. And again, it has the melodic on top and the harmonic on the bottom. So that's really cool. It has sets of those. There's a lot of those. And it does go from, this one has quite a few more intervals. Where are the intervals? Oh, there's the intervals. So this has quite a few more intervals. The basic cards stopped at, how many intervals did they do? Did they do all 8? It comes with this little, each one comes with a little cheat sheet for me. Intervals. Yeah, so they only do, this one only does 8. And I think it's all, that's key signature. Yeah, so the 8 intervals in this set only do the treble clef. So the nice thing about this is that this does both the treble clef and the bass clef. So that's nice. This also has some additional things. For example, double bar lines. It also has the tempos. There's allegro. I think the other one does have the double bar line and stuff. This one shows slurs and ties a little differently. It gives them a little bit better grasp on the difference between a slur and a tie. This one is a tie. You'll see the 2 notes are on the same level. They look the same. These are they're same notes. They're not the same kind of note necessarily, although these are, but 2 notes that are the same and they are tied together. And so you would count that as 4 counts. Rather than 1, 2, 1, 2. That would be held all the way together. As opposed to this is how they demonstrate a slur, and you can see the slur, this is the slur here, this marking here. And those 3 notes, you can see they're not on the same level. They go up. And we read from left to right, which is how you read, I read, like my, anyway, from your left to right, you read these left to right. And the slur indicates that these notes are connected together. So this is a nice way to help students learn the difference between a tie and a slur, which can be very difficult. So these are really cool. Those are the pink ones. And then they also have, this one also has a couple of different ways of teaching notes. So they have just the basic notes. So this is an E, and that's a B. And then it does go all the way up to, it does go all the way up into the, but it shows it on the grand staff, which is nice. This one did not show it on the grand staff. You'll see this shows it just in the clef. Shows you just in the clef that it's in. Now on the back, it does show on the grand staff, that's the answer key, and it shows you where it is on the keyboard, and it tells you what number it is, and it shows it on the grand staff. But in the actual flashcard where they're supposed to be looking at it, it doesn't show them that. Whereas these ones, it does show them on the grand staff where the note is. So you have both the treble and the bass. So that's pretty cool. This also came with what are called 3-note reading cards. And it comes like this. And so this is one of those things that can help students learn to read directionally. So music is read like English grammar. Music is read from left to right. And I'm going to go left to right. My left to right. So music is read left to right. And so one of the things that students sometimes have difficulty with is determining whether notes are in the same, whether the same notes or whether they go up or down. So this note starts on a line. This note starts on the line and it goes down. This is what we call down. And then it goes back up. And so students sometimes have a hard time, especially early students have a hard time identifying when notes go up or down. And so they'll play the same note 3 times and you'd be like, not quite. Those are 3 different notes. So I'm gonna get editing on this vlog so I can post it, and I will talk to you guys later today. Hello, it is 9:15. Cassie and I just got home from practice. It was a good practice tonight. I forgot to bring the tripod for a variety of reasons, but I hope you enjoyed your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.